Every thought I think and every word I speak is a blueprint that my mind and body are making real. You'll see that every day when you say things like, oh, I'm so dreading next Wednesday, I've got to give a speech at work, I don't know why I volunteered, I've got to go and see my kid's teacher, I don't want to do that. Come Wednesday, you'll wake up with a flu or chronic diarrhea, because you see, I listened to you. When you said I'd give anything not to do that, I'd do anything to get out of it. Lo and behold, you get a chronic migraine, terrible cold, because your mind listens. And the way to get around that is really simple. Whatever you want, and this is so simple, you have to say, I want it, I want it, I want it, I'm ready. That is actually a magic expression. And then to say, I've chosen this, and I've chosen to feel great about it. I've chosen it, and I've chosen to feel great. I've chosen not to eat cake anymore, not to drink Diet Coke, not to drink loads of alcohol. I've chosen it, but I've also chosen to feel great. Because what most do is I've chosen not to eat cake, and it's so unfair, and it's so boring. I'm condemned to this rabbit food. I've chosen not to drink, and now I'm a real bore at the party. When you say, I've chosen it, I've chosen to feel great about it, that's your blueprint. I've chosen this, and I've chosen to feel great. And I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. And when you can dialogue with your mind that way, it really is a game changer. So the mind is really simple. When I was training to be a therapist, my very eminent teacher, you know, the mind is very complicated. Do you know it takes a lifetime to understand the workings of the mind? And then it takes a second lifetime to apply. I'm like, well, how does that work then? First of all, no one's got a lifetime. And what's the point of getting all that knowledge when you're 89? But it's actually not true. The mind is very simple. It does what it thinks you want it to do. And it bases it entirely on how you talk. You know, if you were a doctor and you had a patient of 4 and the mum said, you've got a tummy ache, you go, where does it hurt? Is it reoccurring? Is it stabbing? A child can't tell you, so you can never work out what's going on because they haven't got the language. And an adult can say, well, it's a stabbing pain, I get it here, it's intermittent, it's worst after I've eaten, it's easier in the morning. And by that language, a doctor knows exactly what's going on. And your mind is the same. By your language, it knows what's going on. So everything you're doing, your mind thinks that's exactly what you want. When you say things like, I really can't be bothered to do that, or it's too stressful, or it's taking too long, you're telling your mind, I don't want it. When you say, well, I do want it, but it's so hard, it's so difficult, you're still telling your mind you don't want it. So if in your life there's something that you want, can be anything at all. Maybe you want to live without sugar, but you haven't succeeded. Maybe you want to do the plank every day, but you just don't do it. If there's something you want and you're not doing it, I promise your mind thinks you don't want that at all. Because every time you do the plank, you go, oh, this is painful. Oh, my stomach hurt, my arms hurt, my neck hurts. And now your mind's going, don't do the plank ever again. I'm doing this aerobic class and I hate the music, I don't like the teacher. I'm teaching my kid math, going, oh my God, I could kill myself with this. This is so difficult. You're telling your mind, I don't actually want this. So if there's anything you haven't got that you want, just start to say, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. You know, if you were going to have a tattoo, you wouldn't go, you wouldn't say, hey, I'm going to have roses tattooed on my back, right down to my butt. Does it hurt? They go, of course it bloody hurts. What do you think it is here? This is not a massage, it's a tattoo part. Because I know, but I want it. And I worked with a very tiny little pop star who had that roses tattooed. Did it hurt? She went, oh yes, but I was so excited. I went every day. It took 2 years to get these roses tattooed, even on my butt. But I was so excited because a junkie doesn't say, will it hurt when you put that needle in my arm? Will it hurt when I squirt drugs into my eyeball? They go, will I get high? Will I be out of it? And then they get excited about pain. So if you haven't got what you want, you've confused your mind into things you don't want it. Oh, all men leave you, they all trade you in, they're all after something else. And if you've got a lot of what you don't want, procrastinating, self-sabotaging, putting things off, your mind thinks, you want that, you must want it. So you have to learn to dialogue with your mind, which is so easy. You know, we're all taught if you want a great business, you've got to learn to dialogue with your customers. You want a great marriage, especially if you're Jewish, go and learn how to dialogue with your partner. You want to be a great parent, learn how to talk to your kids so they listen. All of these things work, but no one says, hey, the most important thing in the whole world is how you dialogue with you, because your subconscious mind is always switched on. It never runs out of batteries. It's always on, and it's always on record. So right now you could think about what you really want, and then think about how you're dialoguing with yourself, and think about the things you've got that you don't want, and again think about how you're dialoguing with yourself. But let me show you, because it's much more fun to experience it and hear it, how your mind does whatever you tell it. So everyone take their right arm and point it towards me. But really simple. And all I want you to do is take your arm as far back behind as it will go. Just push it to its absolute limit. Make sure it's pushed to its limit. Notice where it is. Just mark it on wherever you might. Bring it back. And just close your eyes. And I want you to tell your arm to go a third further. As weird as that sounds, I want you to say to your arm, you are going to go a third further. You're like a gymnast. You're like an Olympic athlete in being flexible. I want you to tell all the muscles in your shoulder to open up and to become kind of like rubber bands. I want you to imagine your arm is so flexible. Your right arm is super flexible. It's like a pipe cleaner. It's going to go a third further. Open your eyes, look at your arm, and just say to your arm, go a third further, because I'm telling you to, and I know you can. And now take it back and watch as it goes a whole third further, because you told it to. So when you say things like, if I look at a cake, I get fat. If I have one potato chip, I eat the whole bag. My kids just make me lose my mind. You can make that happen. So let's do the other arm, and we'll do this one really quickly, because you take your other arm and just swing it as far back behind as it will go. Look at where it's gone. Make sure you know where it is, because it's going to go a third further. Bring it back. Look at your arm and say, go a third further. You are super flexible. You're like Barbie or Ken. You're like a rubber doll, and you can go all the way back. Say to your arm, go a third further. You're super, super. Go further. Go a third further. Tell your arm to do that. Swing it back and watch again as it goes a third further. So when you can make your arm go further by telling it to, what else do you think? You know, you can say, I'm super orgasmic. I'm orgasmic. I have multiple orgasms, and I look 10 years younger, have little electric shocks all over my body. If you say that, it becomes true. If you say, oh no, I can't. It's so difficult. He's been down there for hours, and I just can't respond. I'm really bored. I'm thinking of other things. Everything is how you dialogue with yourself. So let's do another one. Put your hand in front of your mouth. And I want you to imagine you've got half a lemon in your hand, half of a big, fat, juicy Spanish lemon. Obviously, the half is facing up. And I want you to squish that and imagine you can breathe in and you can really inhale that great flavor of a lemon, that smell of a lemon. I want you to squeeze the lemon so all little drops of lemon juice come to the surface. I want you to open your mouth. And I want you to shove that half a lemon in your mouth and begin to chew it and bite it. I want you to suck out all the flesh, chew every segment, suck out every bit of lemon juice, swirl it around your mouth, keep chewing and sucking and biting on that lemon. And as you chew and suck and bite a lemon, you'll notice that your taste buds are enlarging. Your taste buds are puckering now, because they're really responding to the thought that you are eating a lemon. Keep eating the lemon, and then just drop your hand out. How many of you noticed you started to make saliva as you told yourself you were eating a lemon? Put your hand up if you noticed that. You see, you know there's no lemon. Your mind doesn't go, come on, there's no lemon. This is crazy. Your mind says, you're eating a lemon. That's going to wash away tooth enamel. I need to make saliva because of the acid in the lemon. So if you can think about a lemon, and your mind acts as if you're actually eating lemon, even when you know that you're not, if you can think that, then you begin to understand that every thought you think has an emotional reaction and a physical action too. When you think about something, you make it real. check out my next video here. I see all my clients and they all say the same thing. I'm waiting for motivation. You know what? Motivation doesn't go, here I am. I'm motivation. I'm at your door and I've come to motivate you. You are firing new neurons. The mind